Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and this week we're bringing you week 0. If you've been watching my channel for any period of time, you know that I've been training for a strongman competition taking place in Kentucky in August. I should probably look up that day. Well, anyways, with the move going on, getting into the new house, I've had a really difficult time maintaining training. So with this week, this is my first official week being like back in the gym, back on program, and this video actually encompasses like 1.5 weeks worth of training. So in the early training, you're not gonna see like the French cleat wall because I literally got the rack in, I got the bars moved, I got the weights moved, and just tried to get something back on the books. But that's enough with the intro, so let's just get back into the training footage and I'll meet you right back here at the end of the video. And welcome to the voiceover. So again, this is the first day of training in the new garage gym. It was not a program day. There was no plan for this day. I just kind of got everything moved into the gym. I wanted to train and I had the opportunity. And so I went forward. I think this is like a midday session. I don't really recall, but I do know that squats went well and 325 pounds moved a lot better than I thought it would, especially for taking a couple weeks off. My squat has never been something that I'm particularly proud of. However, 325 pounds moved really well, which prompted me to try to go up a little bit to 345 pounds. 345 moved pretty decent. However, it just wasn't quite where I really wanted it to be to really do any bigger jumps. Hopefully I'm able to do a training cycle where I actually make some significant gain in my squat. Right now, my max I've ever done is 425 pounds. I'm really hoping to outdo that this year. Bench has been going particularly well for me, especially since I barely train it, but it's been going up. And then here are these power pin swings. And if you want to see my review on the power pin, I really do think it's one of the best pieces in my gym as far as accessory pieces. And I highly recommend that you guys check out Mike Bartos at Mike Bartos Power Center. After that, we had some chins, and I prefer to use the neutral grips for my chins. And it's something I've noticed is that my dead hang isn't really so much a dead hang. I tend to curl my body up as I do my lift. Move on to day 2, and again, unprogrammed day of training, basically just me messing around in the gym. First thing I mess around with was the single-handed Kabuki shoulder rock swings. These are a lot of fun. If you have a shoulder rock, give it a try. I do think that there's some value to them, plus it's just kind of a way to mix it up. And after shoulder rock, I move straight into pressing. I believe that this is 165 pounds on the bar. And I ended up working up to this heavy single at 185 pounds. Now here is kind of the funny part. I pushed and braced so hard during that lift that as it came down, I basically kind of got like a head rush, and I didn't really like pass out, but things definitely went gray. And the way I describe this is like, have you ever seen Transformers when that whole like whomp vibrating thing happens? That's what happens in my head. It just happens every once in a while. Usually I just remember to try to take a knee. After that, I decided to call it quits for the evening. And then this is my first semi-program. So what I did is I just pulled my old programming that I was doing prior to the move. And here are some power center swings. I usually do these as a warm-up to my deadlift. This is 115 pounds on the swing. And I'm telling you, you really ought to check out this piece of equipment. I think it's a solid piece to add to anybody's arsenal. After that, moved into deadlift. Now here is 415 pounds. Really not that much, especially since my current PR at this is 515 in recent memory and 550 pounds for an all-time. Again, a lot of room to improve, just like squat. But 415 came up really nicely. So here's 415 and just moving at the exact speed that I would expect it to. I'm able to keep somewhat tight. My upper thoracic does kind of collapse a little bit, but it's not enough that I'm really too worried about it. After that, threw the transformer bar back in the rack and decided to do these front squat setting and setting number 3. And this is just 205 pounds. Nothing too challenging really, but I'm really focusing on my technique with these, trying to keep an upright torso. And again, I have been working on my notes for my transformer bar how-to video, so look forward to that coming out soon. These were high volume sets, which is something I don't do very often. However, at the lightweight and really focusing on the technique, I think that there's a lot to be said for high volume sets, especially if you're trying to build work capacity, which in the sport of strongman, you do need to have power, but you do have to have the ability to actually work for time as well. So expect to see some higher rep work in my videos coming up. After the transformer bar, went on to these single-legged Romanian deadlift things. These are super tough to do. So unilateral work is something that I tend to be very poor at. And the only way to get better at something that you suck at is just to go ahead and swallow your pride, suck it up a little bit, and get in there and do it. So just 55 pounds on the loadable dumbbell, and really just trying to focus on keeping my hip alignment and trying to focus on that balance piece. I do think that these will pay dividends in the future. It's just a matter of getting better at them in the right now. And in the right now, 55 pounds is a pretty challenging number to do. I don't like to do these with a kettlebell, by the way. I prefer to do them with a dumbbell so I can just go directly over my toe. After that, I went ahead and finished with a plank complex. So what I do, you can see my phone in front of me. I set it for 3 45-second sets, and I do a side plank for 45 seconds, a front plank for 45 seconds, and my daughter came out and decided to join me for my last set of 45 seconds, which is on the other side. This is the second day of the week here, and I ended up doing 10 of these triples, but this is 185 pounds, and it was moving so quickly that it was just an amazing training night. Now, the next day I did feel that volume, but it was really cool to be able to rock out 10 speed triples at 185 pounds. Afterwards, did the bent over rows. Those were heavy, and then these chins with 50 pounds on a loading pin. I like to use the loading pin when I do my weighted chins, just personal preference. This is my Strongman Saturday, so I was planning on getting a third or fourth day of training in the week before Strongman Saturday, but it just didn't work out with some of the home improvement stuff that we're doing. So Strongman Saturday, I came right out, and I needed to move some equipment around, and one of the things I needed to move was my circus dumbbell. So what I ended up doing was just loading it full of weight, and I almost PR'd. So kind of crazy. The lockouts on these are pretty weak in retrospect, like looking back at them. Pretty sure I would have not gotten a down command for these for these reps rather. But right there, that's 5 pounds underneath my all-time PR for circus dumbbell. And then right here, this is me trying to set a 2.5 pound PR. That was 145 pounds, just couldn't quite get it. After that, we moved on to Viking Press. So I did purchase from Garage Gym Dad, shout out on Instagram. He sold me his Cleva built landmine. I don't know if it's his second one or why he has it, but I ended up loading it up to like 270 pounds and dropping some weight around on it just to see how well it would do with Viking Press, and it did really, really well. Afterwards, loaded up my new Mark Bartos Power Center Pro Economy Series yoke. This is a 2x3 yoke, and it is something I'm going to be trading out my Y1 from Rogue for. And here's a couple runs for 50 feet at 610 pounds. Now, I did move into a cul-de-sac, and one of the funny things about the cul-de-sac is I didn't realize it before, but without cone markers, I tend to not walk straight. So I'm definitely going to have to remember to throw out some cones. Finished up the training day with these Rolling Thunders. And again, Rolling Thunder has always been a weakness of mine. But like I said earlier, the only way to get better at something that you suck at is to do it more often. But that's been it for this week. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys that watch every single week. And remember, when it comes to your garage gym, you should always make it better, awesome, and of course, badass. I'll catch you guys later.